But because of the pride of the owners and the pride of the drivers, just look at how these lorries are presented. Really extraordinary to see the quality of restoration and the ongoing keeping these lorries in such marvelous to see, and well done to you guys, because well, it is just so nice to see people taking a pride in their vehicle. 60s and 70s. Now, very rare to see a Bedford TK because so many of them were exported into the third world, and that is a particularly nicely presented Bedford TK. Most of those lorries ended up in India, in Pakistan. First of our Austins today, again 63, 64 in the year. Quality of this Cape Horse transport lorry, an absolute feast for the eye. Really, really great to see that. The presentation on that Comet is absolutely extraordinary. Next, from a social history point of view, such an important vehicle because that very much led to the liberalisation of the road. Those vehicles you had to very close shop. Good afternoon, sir. That wonderful Leyland lorry, which actually, that yellow lorry, has done very little road mileage because it was used internally at the ICI factory, never really went out on the road. The lovely Leyland lorry, bit cab on it, so those doors, like a suicide door, they open backwards. And again, from Austin's perspective, they were a mainstay in the road haulage industry. Next is very, very smart ERF, Alan Phillips, with a Cummins 290 in it. Just look at the presentation of that lorry. That has done hundreds of thousands of miles, that lorry, and to be preless condition. Scania again, good afternoon, sir. So nice to see that Scania, an absolute mainstay of trucking today. Ford Iveco, and again, very, very nicely presented. That lorry has never really done any work at all. It started off life as a demonstrator and then has gone into preservation. Serious Scania coming in the ring now. My goodness, look at that, ladies and gentlemen, with a bonnet. You know, that is quite a rare lorry, and very, very nice to see. Of course, Scania synonymous with a very good quality truck, very much organised around looking after the driver, making sure the driver was comfortable, making sure the driver was safe. A very nice lorry, and if there is a failing with British lorries, it was their failure to recognise this whole concept of looking after the driver. Some really splendid trucks coming in, Hammond & Sons with their wonderful 142 and 143 Scamels. Absolutely a credit to the drivers, because just look at how these lorries are being presented today. Really, really smart, and as I say, that doesn't happen by accident. RF story, we have this particular Edward Redden skip lorry. I'm not sure how wise that managed to be stood on the back of there, but anyway. Now, my goodness, we're going back into the early 1960s, British Road Services, with that wonderful parcel van that has had a tremendous amount of work done on that to get that to look in that condition. Transport, and this one is on its way to Tottenham, if that sign on the front is a number 73, Islington, Euston, Oxford Street, Hyde Park Corner. And again, just look at how that is presented, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely wonderful to see that that bus in that condition. Fantastic. He's no longer with us. He's promoting his charity ploughing match the 9th of October at Neville. We'll try and get an idea of where Neville is in a minute. That with that wonderful Cummins L10 in it. Now first, this is a real brute. This is an AEC. Now many of these we can trace back to their military origins, and they then got converted, I think is probably the politest way about that. 420 horsepower, a pretty serious truck by any standards, and as we said earlier, Scania were very clever in recognising the whole concept around driver comfort and making that a nice place to work. A wonderful, wonderful Peterbilt, this American truck, and again really nice to see this absolutely cab over the engine, and that tells us a story really. Great to see. They have two. The Uni-Power, absolutely bespoke, very much a timber tractor. Day one that was a timber tractor, and still it is. A hard old working life for the timber tractors like that. Scamel next, and again look at the presentation of that, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely mouth-watering, wonderful. Lady Gracie next, the Volvo tractor unit, and again Volvo very much like Scania in as much as they recognised how important it was to make a truck that was nice to drive. The heater worked, you know, all those sort of things we take for granted, but sadly that wasn't always the case. Some tremendous values now being attached to some of these 1960s, 1970s trucks, becoming very, very collectible. My goodness, what a display we have for you today. Really tremendous to see. How about that for a breakdown lorry, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think there's anything he couldn't get home, is there? That is just a serious, serious Kenworth breakdown lorry. Great levels, 75 ton in that crane. So pretty incredible, that lifting capacity. So really pleased to see this turnout of lorries this weekend. It's becoming something of a feature here at Cranford, the amazing array of vehicles on display, and this lot of lorries is pretty well
So that's got a straight six on it. Yeah, we've had done this weekend, isn't it? Yeah. We've had done this weekend. Yeah. I'm going